Aloha, everyone. My name is Timothy Chiu. I'm the Economic Development Specialist at DBET. Good to see you again in the China Market Webinar Series. And thank you so much for attending the last webinar in 2020. We do have a couple more in 2021. Please go to Invest.Hawaii.Gov and go under the Exporting tab to find out more information about the high step and all different kinds of webinar that we have in 2021. Before we start the webinar today, there are some items to go over. The webinar will be recorded for future use and playback. All participants are also muted upon entry. If you have any questions for the panelists, we do have the Q&A sessions at the end of the webinar. But please feel free to leave your questions anytime in the Q&A box, or you can push the raise hand button on your screen. If I see you raise your hand, I will give you access to speak and ask questions directly to our panelists at the end during the Q&A sessions. So now I would like to introduce Jamie Lum, the Manager of Business Development Branch at DBET, to tell us more about the High Step program. Thank you so much. Jamie, please.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome to another one of our series on the China market. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Timothy. I just want to mention a little bit about our High Step program, which is the Hawaii State Trade Expansion Program. Our program is primarily supported through a grant that we received from the Small Business Administration, and it is intended for companies that are interested in expanding their sales through exports. It's for companies that are new to export, all the way through to companies who have been already exporting but are looking to expand into new markets or to expand their product lines. So we administer this through partnerships with many federal and state and county agencies. And we provide programs such as this through our export readiness program. We offer webinars on various export related topics, as well as market specific topics such as this China seminar. We also do help to support trade shows. We do Hawaii pavilions in selected trade shows, and we take a group of companies together to exhibit together in a Hawaii pavilion. And the final component of our program is our company assistance program, where companies can apply for an amount of funding to help them implement their export development plans. You can find all of the information on High Step on our website, Invest.Hawaii.Gov, under the Exporting tab. We are currently accepting applications for the company assistance, which we'll start receiving January 8th. But I also encourage you to go to our website and to just fill out a registration form. There's no cost to participate. We just want to get some information about your company, and then we will put you in touch with one of our High Step partners so you can have an initial consultation and to discuss your exporting goals. So again, thank you very much for joining us today. And now I'd like to turn the program over to our host, Gordon Zhang, who is the head of our Beijing office. Gordon?
Thank you, Jamie. And aloha to all our listeners. And very happy to see you again, to meet you again just before the new year. It's a very special moment for a very special year. And now this webinar focuses on the power of social media in China. And I myself and Flora are working in DBET Beijing office. We have been here for over 13, 14 years, and I've been here for over 6 years already. Our primary role is to help Hawaii businesses to get exposure to the Chinese market. We have been doing tourism, doing trade, doing education, and now, with the impacts of the COVID-19, and we hope that we can help some Hawaii companies to get into China to export their whether it's industrial or agricultural products in China. And that's all about myself, our office, and I'd like now to introduce our speakers. We have two speakers today, and the first one is Joey Lee. Well, he is the general manager of Meltwater China. Meltwater is a SaaS company, which is a software as a service company, and this company has a suite of 14 softwares for especially marketing tools. And Joey got his bachelor degree in operations management and marketing from Hong Kong Science and Technology University. He has been with the company for 6 years, and he has helped thousands of companies to deep dive into their online presence in China. And his focus is primarily on helping businesses understand media's landscape in China. And now let's invite Joey to tell us how his company or himself can help our friends in Hawaii. Joey, please.
Thank you, Gordon. I'm going to share my screen very quickly so that people can see my deck. Yeah, okay, cool. So thanks for the intro and thanks for the invite as well. You guys can all see my screen, right? Cool. Okay. So I'm just gonna do very. So thanks, Gordon, for the introduction. So basically, what Meltwater does, to summarize, we do 3 things really well. So first thing is we help foreign brands entering China. Second thing is we help Chinese brands expand overseas. And the last thing we do is helping Chinese brand success in China. Meltwater is actually a listed company on Eurogross. We were listed actually last month. So we're currently one of the biggest media monitoring company globally. We have 60 offices. And we're actually headquartered in San Francisco. So primarily we do PR analytic tools. So we started from there, and then we expanded and moved up markets to social media landscape. And then now we do a bunch of things like KOL monitoring. We do journalists like outreach. We do influencer database and etc. as well. So today's agenda is very simple. I want to do a very brief intro on the China market itself. I want to tell people how you can utilize data to set a successful marketing plan, and finally how to activate your business in the online space as well. I'm not going to spend too much time on the China social media landscape, but this slide is basically from me trying to tell everyone that it is a very complicated market compared to, like Western market, where we generally have, very simple messaging tools like, WhatsApp, like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. China has dozens of them in each of those segments. And for us, I think the apps, like different apps, they just penetrate throughout the daily life of all the Chinese people. In terms of the digital ecosystem, it is a very complicated ecosystem, but it's also very simple as well, because we divided functions into each individual features, and each individual features has its own app system. We call it the app system to support that ecosystem as well. And the good thing is in China, there are a lot of major dominant players in each sectors, which means for a lot of the business, it makes your decision very simple. You follow the dominant apps to put all your spendings and to put all your, content. So it's actually very simple. I guess some of the very dominant social media channels, I'm sure everyone already know. I think Sarah's going to mention a little bit more on the Douyin side. And today what I want to do is more on Red. Because Red is a platform that creates very strong brand awareness in the recent era for the Chinese social media. As Meltwater, as a data company, what we specialize on is to give you transparency into the KOL landscape, and also for brand landscape, and also for industry as well. As a third party, you get a quick glance into how your brand is performing, how your competitors are doing, and also on what the trend and the industry landscape is like currently in China. I think to break down a little bit, firstly, before you enter the market, I'm sure a lot of the brands, you're still at the starting stage. You utilize media monitoring. Primarily, we want to help you achieve 3 different goals. Firstly is to understand what Chinese consumer wants. I think it's more so on the categories that you want to enter. Let's say you're a brand that is selling nuts. You want to understand what people are saying about nuts in general in China, like which type of nuts, whether it's macadamia or almonds and stuff, people are speaking about, and what are the scenarios people speak about it. For example, let's say you're almond milk producer, you want to enter China, you want to see what kind of what do people talk about when they associate almond milk. We'll be able to draft out a theme cloud, a keyword cloud, for you to understand whether people put it in their coffee, whether people associate it with breakfast, whether people associate it with, it's a good supplement for your brain and for your health in general. Firstly, to understand the general categories. I think the second thing is to understand how your local or foreign competitors are positioning their brands in China. That's very simple by, just keying keywords on your competitor's name or generated through the industry research. You'll be able to quickly understand within the same categories, what are the other brands doing? Like, which channels are they pushing through, right? Because there are so many channels in China. The tool or data itself give you a very transparent picture on how much money or how much effort they're putting in each channels as well. The last point is to make sure to understand your brand capacity or your brand capabilities in China. Because what we have noticed is before a lot of brands enter China, for example, recently there is a shoe brand called Allbirds, which is a Switzerland a shoe brand that is very famous. I think Roger Federer is one of the key spokesperson. It was a very niche brand because China is dominated by Nike and also Adidas and stuff for so long, but that brand started getting a lot of attractions on Red before it actually enters China. There are a lot of buyers that went to Switzerland, bought those shoes overseas, show them on Red and showcase the brand. So your brand might already be famous in China. It's just that you don't even know yet. So what you can do is find a supplier, find an agency that can operate a store for you on Taobao, and you can enter China in a very low cost fashion and start building brand awareness. And plus, also, there are Chinese people everywhere in the world, right? So every person is a media outlet in many ways, and they've already broadcasting or probably speaking about your brands in some of the social channels in China. You just need to write on those trends. Second thing you want to do is maybe to look at the potential of your brand image in China. I think what people care about. So there are 3 things that I think are important. Firstly is the long-term value of the brand, like whether or not your brand has a history. A lot of the brands, Italian brands and French brands, are doing really well in China because they have a long history. They speak about family values. They speak about heritage. I think those are all good things that you should be thinking about. What can be associated with the audience before you craft out a social strategy. Second thing people care about a lot is memorability. I think that's a very interesting term, right? It can be a very catchy tagline. It can be a very cool packaging. It can be the brand story itself, but you need something that resonates with the audience. And that's actually quite easy to craft out. We can see with social media being on trend in especially in the past 2 years. It's very easy to create something that is memorable. You can utilize the agency, you can utilize KOL like Sarah, like a lot of the other KOLs in China. You'll be able to catch people's eyesight very in a very punchy fashion as well. Lastly, to differentiate, I think speaking from the Hawaii perspective, you guys have very distinctive advantage of being different already. I think it's not just anywhere in the States. You guys are from Hawaii, a lot of the brands I know. So that itself can already differentiate your brand promise and your brand image a lot with a lot of the Chinese brands that are in the same category with you guys. So I think trying to catch on that will be very simple. So couple of things that Meltwater can help with. I'm going to showcase a few screenshots and a very quick demo on what our platform can do. But a few things you can get. Firstly, I think the most important thing is to capture the media, because in China, media is very, very dominant. We did a very quick calculation. Globally, Meltwater currently track around 300 to 400,000 media outlets. Just within China, there are 50,000. There are different kind of apps, there are different kind of news outlet. TV broadcast and newspaper are all old times in China. Everything is transforming digitally. So once everything transforms digitally, they leave what we call the digital breadcrumbs. They spread across a lot of different kind of evidence for you guys to pick out, to put together, and then you can have a holistic understanding of the landscape itself and also the information. So a few things we do: we help people position or monitor their media performance and the industry's media performance. For example, new energy or hybrid cars are a big trend in China right now. So any brands that are trying to enter that category, you'll be able to ride on the uprising trend of the industry itself. The other thing that we do really well is the beverage industry. I know F&B is always a very strong category in China. I'm going to showcase a few F&B examples. Just because we have 1.4 billion people, it's a very high consumption power there. So any F&B brands will do quite well once you craft out the right strategy. And the influencer positioning is also very important. I guess in China, utilizing the right KOL will definitely boost your brand. It creates media exposure. It creates the right kind of synergy with the target audience, and a few other things. Competitive analysis, 24-hour alarming. Alarming is more for sentiment. Let's say if your brand faces a crisis, we'll be able to alert you immediately, and then also to help you brainstorm some right strategies and help you pick out an agency that can help you. So a couple of screenshots from Meltwater itself. I'll explain a little bit. So these are some of the analytics. So very simple analytics, but what we normally search for is brands, your competitor, or the industry itself. You can see, like in which country or which province in China speak about, let's say, for example, beverage or nuts, using the macadamia nuts, for example. Which state or which province does speak about the nuts in general a lot. And then maybe you can think about the entry strategy starting from that state, because that people, they already generate a high brand awareness of the category itself. The other thing we can do, this is just an example of the KOL. So we help you understand, because there's so many KOLs in China, we help you understand which KOL does what, right? So you can key in their names into our system. You will be able to see how fast their fan base grows, what the click rates are like, how many times they archive something from this KOL, and how the comments are like. And then you can also see, in terms of the fan base categories, what do their fans buy normally? Like what category of things do they buy? For example, what I pick out is a cosmetic KOL. So you can see 31% or 21% of her content based around, cosmetics or skincare products, or earrings or personal care and stuff. So if you're a brand that does tanning oil, for example, you'll be able to identify the right kind of KOL to create the right kind of synergy with the audience itself. KOLs are not, I won't say they're very cost effective for a lot of the KOLs that you pick out, once they're the right ones. So you'll be able to spend very little money and generate a huge amount of brand awareness if you see if you target the right kind of KOLs. But I guess Sarah will touch on a little bit more later from the KOL perspective. The other thing we do is to help you understand how your brand or your competitors are doing on their fan page, right? So I'm just picking out an example on Adidas. All those kind of detailed information I can explain a little bit. We help you understand the demographics, right? So let's say, for example, this is Adidas store on Douyin. So you will be able to see what do people speak about. People speak about, they speak about superstar. They speak about, for example, David Beckham is, Adidas global ambassador. They speak about David Beckham a lot under Adidas's account. They speak about funny content. They speak about technology. They speak about, children or mother care products and stuff. So you'll be able to relate to your competitors by understanding the kind of sales numbers that they do, the number of posts that they do, and how much brand exposure they can get from broadcasting content about their product. I think the last part is on the execution side a little bit. I think for your brand to enter China, let's say with no presence before, firstly, what you do is to build a platform. What I mean by building a platform is to build a channel where you can actually engage with your audience. It can be anything. I picked out a few. Let's say if your brand is a B2B brand. So there are two platforms that is really good. One is Zhihu, which is kind of like Quora in US, because people like to read a lot of the Q&A sessions, especially if you're a B2B product. Let's say you're a medical company, or if you're a data company, you will want to engage a platform like Zhihu to be able to seed into those very knowledgeable kind of audience. The other thing is WeChat. So what I mean by WeChat in China is the public accounts of WeChat. So WeChat is kind of like a media outlets in many ways. A lot of the the moments or the friend circle kind of content, there is no way to track those, but we'll be able to track a lot of those big media outlets that open their media outlets on WeChat. That's also a very good platform for B2B companies to engage in. The other thing is for B2C, there are a couple of things that you can choose from. For Red, it's a platform that I showcased earlier. It helps demonstrate, or it helps display your content beautifully. So if you're a content that has a very great appearance, Red is a very good platform. Weibo, it's kind of like Twitter. So for Weibo to engage with the audience, you find the KOLs, you ask the KOL to write, within 140 characters to promote your brand and the product. Very effective. Douyin, mostly we associate that with sales. Most of the brands, they use Douyin because they want to generate quick revenue very soon by targeting the right KOLs, because Douyin has the ability to transform to funnel into the purchase decision as well, in terms of Taobao or Alibaba and stuff. The last thing is to create content. I think that's the key steps. To create content, I think there are two ways. When I consult a lot of the brands entering China, the two ways. One is you hire a local team. When I mean by local team, it's actually local. So you find a trusted buddy, or you hire a trusted general manager or growth person that can carry your brand starting from a uber small stage, where they can achieve hyper growth by targeting the right channels, opening the Taobao shop, doing the right kind of SEOs in China. They all doesn't cost that much if you're starting city by city, because China is so big, right? And there's many ways to consume the products or the supplies. I think finding the right market to enter by understand what that local market need, that's the biggest contribution a local general manager or a local what we call the starters can help you. The other thing is there are tons of agencies that are currently in China that can distribute products with the right kind of content strategy. We have a lot of agencies that specialize in trade marketing, let's say helping Dutch milk, Dutch brands entering China, helping Norwegian salmon enter China. There are a lot of distributors. So finding the right distributors, go to those kind of exhibitions and events. We have the Canton Fair and all these kind of things. Enter those, and you will be able to find the right agencies and the right audience very soon as well. I'm going to give a few last examples just so that I can resonate with the content that I spoke about today. So many people probably know Oatly. I'm not sure if the America Starbucks is selling them or co-branding them. But in China, Oatly only got famous in the last 2 years. So before that, no one knows the concept of oat milk. And certainly when we think about Sweden, there's only IKEA. So Oatly was able to quickly capture the China audience by targeting the right channel, which is Starbucks. So they after the partnership with Starbucks, they quickly entered a lot of the Shanghai coffee shop, a very big chain that recently got a huge funding called Manner. They came came up with a few cross branding products with Manner to sell the Oatly the oat milk latte, which become a big thing in China because everyone is very health conscious, and those white collars love to have a oat milk, as they think that it's probably healthier than the traditional latte. And they use quite a lot of KOLs. So Melwood actually helped finding out quite a lot of KOLs on the social media that can promote the brand as well. So now currently they have partnership with over 3,000 local cafes. And when those cute Oatly box are displaying, those cafes quickly capture the market as well, that people start buying them for tea, using them in Chinese bubble tea. So you can see that quickly they expanded and went to collaborate with one of the most popular bubble tea shop, which is called Hey Tea in China. And that's a very, very successful example of a very old traditional Swedish brand that entered and become a trend quickly in China, where it was a very, very niche kind of product a long time before. The other one is Tim Hortons. I know everyone's very familiar with our Canada neighbor. So Tim Hortons wasn't anything popular in Asia or in China particularly. It was probably more popular in the North America, but in China had no presence actually before 2019. But everyone knows that Chinese students are everywhere. So a huge group of overseas studying abroad kind of like students are flowing back into China after they graduate. So Tim Hortons already have a very high brand awareness among students that study abroad in North America. So when they announced its entry in 2019, so Melwood actually collaborated with them before the launch itself to understand how they were being perceived way before they started entering China, because it was primarily dominated by Costa and also Starbucks in China. And quickly now they have over 100 chain stores across different regions. I do remember they probably first started in Shanghai. And the reason why is also because they have a huge audience in Shanghai already, because a lot of the students choose to work in Shanghai after they graduated from North America. So if your brand is really well known in North America, most likely it will be known by quite a lot of students who study abroad there. So that's a very good entry point when you can capture those kind of markets. And when you craft out a strategy in China, you can utilize those brand heritage that you already built overseas and bring them into China as well. And right now, a very big attitude that Chinese consumer have is they want to be different. They want to know more niche brands, and they want to consume, and they want to purchase stuff that doesn't cater to a huge audience. The last example is a very small wine company from Spain called Raya Wine. It has zero presence in China, and they were looking to expand in the China market. So they started with a lot of localizing strategy and stuff. They built a lot of media content. I think at the very beginning stage, they basically translate all the content that they have overseas into Chinese and started with a lot of the wine associations and stuff. But what you can see is they quickly opened up their WeChat official accounts. They started engaging with their users, and then they had a very successful strategy in China. So this is the data that we can, so because it's a very small brand before as well. So we did a monitoring on the brand itself. You can see that it had very little presence before, and then recently become a heap of topic in China. These are all the media exposure that they're getting. They do a lot of content on app apps. So a lot of the news outlets, they spend a lot of energy on Weibo and also WeChat to showcase that their wine has something to do with One Belt, One Road. And they invited a lot of the teachers and stuff. So if you break down their training theme, you see a lot of key clouds. So the key clouds include counting like Pudong, like Shenzhen, like speakers, like audience, like Shanghai, etc. Right? So you'll be able, if you're a wine brand that is trying to enter China, you can see how those small wine brands that has entered China before, what are their stories or what kind of key themes they utilize. Lastly, if you look at their content strategy on KOLs, they utilize a lot of the wine KOLs in China. So these two are all KOLs that specifically in the wine categories. So you'll be able to see what kind of other brands that they have promoted. So I have already circled out this person, particularly this Zhu Shuo person. She has promoted brands like Bacardi, Absolute, Ballantine's, and also Louis XIII. So she's very, niche in high-end sort of liquor industry. So for Raya, it's very simple. It's no brainer to choose someone like that because she specializes in those kind of content, and they will be able to see, the index that she has to compare with other KOLs as well. And the next one you can see, she also did a lot of, content on some of the Chinese wine and some of the other white wine as well. So you will be able to cater to a wider audience across social media utilizing data. The good thing is in China, data is a very, very transparent. We have more data type than probably anywhere else other than, Dubai. Dubai also is very famous for having a lot of content that you can generate as a third party. So I would say to enter the China market, it is very, very simple, right? We have all those data available right there for you to make the right kind of decision. What brands are normally scared of is overspending money or spending the wrong kind of money on the wrong kind of strategy, because all the brands are, I know, at the very beginning stage. The good news for everyone is that we do have a very transparent system, or at least a lot of data companies will be able to give you some sort of kind of justification on the money that you're spending when you're trying to expand in China. So you can start small, but you will make a very huge impact. So the last graph here is also, you can see that Raya was able to capture a lot of the audience is because, for example, this first post, this blogger is in Spain, and then she spoke about the Raya wine, right? So it is not even in China. It's someone that is traveling abroad that found out their brand and made awareness of China local audience overseas, where she posted on Red, which is a Chinese audience or targeted audience kind of platform, where it generates kind of awareness already. So if I'm Raya as a brand, I will be able to find out all those people who loved my brand in Spain or elsewhere. And then we can target them when we are entering China. We can combine that with the local kind of strategy as well. So I think if you have any more questions, that will be the end of my presentation. If you have any more questions, feel free to add my one of my partnership managers WeChat, or send us over an email, and we can do a very quick diagnose for your brand as well, if you're curious how much brand exposure your brand has in China at the moment. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to help answer as well later. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Gordon. But yeah, that will be the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Joey. That's impressive. And I believe that our audience, like myself, got a very comprehensive view of the how you can work through the Chinese media platforms. And I just want to echo on 2 or 3 things he just talked about. One is that probably that your brand is already known in China, because Hawaii is so much well known among Chinese. And what we need to do is just to associate your particular product with the already existing brand awareness of Hawaii. For example, either it's chocolate or any a particular product, and then with the help of social media or KOL like Sarah, who is going just to talk to us. And the second thing is about the image. For example, that Joey is drinking a bottled water, and we know that we all know that Hawaii produces a very good bottled water, or mineral water, or deep sea water. We just need to find a entry point to bring Hawaii water. China is a big market for bottled water.
Yeah.
At least we have 1.3 billion people, and you think anything you think of the sheer size of the population, and there's huge market. And third thing, Joey is one of the few speakers who tell our audience that entering into China is simple and easy. I got that, and I hope that our audience also catch this idea, and then, well, let's do something together. And of course, if you have questions, you can either leave a question in the chat box, Q&A box, or you can just ask Joey after Sarah finishes her presentation. And now let's come to the presentation from Sarah. Sarah, let me see. Sarah is what we call KOL, or social media influencer, and she has been doing this. She focuses in China, actually. She has been doing this for a few years, and more seriously for last 2 or 3 years. And you just need to remember two figures about her, is that she now has 60,000 followers on her different social media platforms. And the most popular video that she made had over 6 million views. That's, I think, is telling. And but I still want to say that even though she has 6 million views for some of her videos, there are other people who have billions of views. So she is a rising star, and I hope that Sarah will bring products from Hawaii more well known to the Chinese audience. Okay, Sarah, she's trying to bridge the different cultures together through social media, and she has been to Japan, and she studied in China, and she has been successfully got some Hawaii companies for her to promote in China. And for which companies she's going to tell us in a moment. And one thing that is more convenient for our audiences in Hawaii, that Sarah herself is living in Hawaii. And he has been studying, he studied in Hawaii for a few years too. And she is widely traveled to Asia, to, of course, in America, and to some Southeast Asian countries. And she's also representing a few associations, organizations of Hawaii. And what is important, that she is planning to make her career in international social media platforms. She is currently also working on YouTube and Instagram too. So that's probably another chance for our audience to get Sarah to represent your brand or product in both in different cultures anyways. So let's invite Sarah to tell us what she is doing, what she did, and what she can do for us in the future. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Gordon, and aloha. So
aloha.
First of all, mahalo so much to HI Step for the opportunity to share my experience as a Chinese KOL, and for everyone here taking time out of your busy schedules to attend this webinar. So let me go ahead and share my my screen with you. So today I'm going to be sharing one of my passions, Chinese social media, more specifically behind the scenes of a Chinese KOL. So we'll be covering the basics of a KOL, my own background, video examples, what Chinese viewers find interesting, and finally, what makes a KOL special. So without further ado, let's begin. So let's go. So first of all, let's get an idea of what KOL means. So it's a key opinion leader. So Joey was already able to talk about the importance of them in the use of media, but I'd like to dig a little bit deeper into the TikTok platform, or Douyin in China. So as he was able to dive into Red, which is also a very important social media platform. So a key opinion leader, they're a social media influencer that has very loyal following. And then they're also available on multiple platforms. And today I'll be focusing on Douyin, as that's where I have my majority of following. So there's also many different kinds of KOL. Like Joey was also talking about the different niches that they have, like travel, language, fashion, music, comedy, food, one of my favorites, etc. But then there's also the difference of their significance of following. So for me, a one-man band, being in charge of in front of and behind the camera, so I'm considered a micro KOL with having a following between 50K to 300K. I'm only at 65K so far, but I'm working on it. And then you have those like macro KOLs, which have entire production companies behind them and have millions of followers and then billions of views on their content. And so they're a lot more to work with, but definitely worth it for like different brands. Yeah. So I'll be focusing mainly on the different kinds of like niche that I've integrated into my own videos, like travel and food specifically. So before we get into my own videos, let me just introduce a little bit about my own media background. So I actually started social media in China first, like about 5 years ago. So before the days that TikTok was even popular. So I started on a platform called Meipai, and that was definitely a very interesting experience because I got to learn about the world of Chinese social media from like the very beginning, back when live streaming or live streamers were very popular, and then TikTok started coming out. So Douyin, once Douyin came out, like it was very different than when I started my international platforms such as Instagram and YouTube. So I would like to talk about a few of those differences that we have. So for example, my Douyin videos. So we talked about the different niches. So I wanted to show my most popular Douyin videos that I have so far, and also talk about kind of the niches and that they combine. So first, we're going to take a look at my video with 1 million views first. That's about Chengdu hot pot. So this was my first time in Chengdu, China, which is very, very popular for their spicy hot pot. But then in this video, I act as if spicy is no big deal, like as if I'm a pro about it. And then my friend, who's a Chengdu native, speaking in his dialect, helps me in preparing all of the ingredients. And then I finally experienced my very first Chengdu hot pot. But let's see how that actually turns out. So I'll go ahead and start the video here. So I say I want the spiciest one. Very hospitably putting all of the correct ingredients for the most traditional experience. Even the spicy sauces. And one of my friends, he prepares it for me. And here it is. Is it good? Oh, it's actually pretty good. After 20 minutes. Okay, this is the last one. Is it spicy? Nope. Are you good with it? Yeah, I can take it. Well, it turns out it was actually much spicier than I had initially thought it would be. So what's interesting, if you can also kind of check out the difference between any TikTok videos that you've seen on Western TikTok and then just the Douyin video that we just saw. So this video is not just a travel video like vlog style, but it combines travel, comedy, acting, food, and also dialect. So now I would want to compare this kind of video to the one that was just talked about, that Gordon was just talking about, my one about Chinese snacks, which so far is my most viewed video with 6 million views. So this video, a little background, it's from when I was in California, and I was so happy that I found an Asian market with a ton of my favorite snacks that I had not eaten in forever. So happy that I cried. So let's check it out. So here I am over at Lion Supermarket, and I found my favorite spicy sauce that was popular 5 years ago. Oh, and then you have the wonderful, like, different candies. I have my favorite soy milk, then chrysanthemum tea. But there were no sunflower seeds. They were all sold out, sadly. And this is where I found my favorite sesame candy. And I'm so happy that I can get some Chinese snacks. And then real quickly, switch back to think, oh, I gotta go back and wash my hands now. So what's interesting about this video is that it also is a combination of travel, food, dialect, but it also has a secret weapon, nostalgia, which you wouldn't have expected, yeah? So now that you've seen a preview of what these Douyin videos actually look like, let's dive into what exactly Chinese viewers find interesting about these, because they seem kind of random at a first glance. Well, in my experience, the preference of Chinese viewers is constantly evolving and has become extremely diverse. Just like Joey's talked about the different niches that they have, yeah? So 2 years ago, when Douyin was first becoming a very popular platform, like, they were mainly like simple dance trends and lip singing, but all of that has changed. One of my famous Western like TikTok influencer friends, she was particularly surprised at like Douyin's video quality. And that was a very big difference between Western TikTok and Chinese Douyin. So international viewers on Western TikTok are interested in a more simplistic and repetitive, like lower quality of video production, whereas Chinese audiences have a much higher standard. So like I said before, and like Joey was also talking about, there are macro KOLs that have whole production companies behind them, and entire like groups that are dedicated to just making this social media content. So their content looks like full out movies or like dramas that you see on TV. Then you have the micro KOLs that we're doing it ourselves, but we have lots of varying levels of production. So, but there's an aspect of the editing style that still remains the same: constant engagement. So Chinese viewers are known to have a very short attention span. And like, if they're not interested in 0.2 seconds, they'll go ahead and swipe past you. So keeping them interested, and in like my 2 videos, the use of editing to like sound effects, like upbeat music, music changes, the quick cuts, the zoom ins, the zoom outs, the text popping up everywhere, and also commenting on everything that's happening. There's always some form of information to take in with the short video. Now, recently I've noticed Chinese audiences interested in, like, say, different languages. So to name a few that I've seen, Japanese is becoming more and more popular, which would be wonderful for Hawaii with a long history of Japanese. And the reason for that in China, though, is because, like, mostly through Bilibili, another platform which is more like a YouTube platform in China, the anime or animation or the Japanese cartoons has become very, very popular, so much that there's so many like Chinese studying abroad in Japan or living in Japan or like learning about the cultures. So Japanese has become very popular. And then also, of course, another language, English, as like Joey said, like there's a lot of Chinese living abroad. You can find like new friends everywhere. And what's interesting also is that Chinese that are living abroad or have studied abroad, they also love learning about like the different ways to say things or different like trending slang or things that are in English as well. Then you also have Chinese dialects. So even Cantonese, which is very popular here on island, as the first like Chinese immigrants on island were Cantonese or like Zhongshan speakers, yeah. And there's the difference of Cantonese dialects. You also have, like in my Chengdu hot pot video, the Chengdu dialect, also very popular. So there's many different dialect themed videos as well, and like integrating those, right? But another thing that definitely is very important, just like Joey had talked about, is trends. So for trends can come up everywhere. Like the memorability, like Joey was talking about, is very important. So for example, this picture that you can see here is when I was writing this one trend, which was a trend of your past self and your future self pass each other on the steps, and it's very dramatic, and you look at your past self and your past self looks at your future self, and then the BGM is a Russian song, but it's one of the most memorable Russian songs I've ever heard. It's like la 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 la. It'll just get stuck in your head to the point that you're always wanting to continuously consume all of these like different versions and of this trend. So trends can start anywhere and can be of like anything, but getting on top of those and writing them really helps with that exposure and that like brand awareness. So another aspect that has been very popular recently is like the noticing of different cultures as well. So you have North versus South, even in China, you have like the different provinces, you have other countries as well. So like Japan versus China, you have the like mainland, you have Hawaii, you have like many different like locations and different, even like different generations as well, just lots of different cultural like differences, and they love having that being integrated into the videos. So now, how do you use all of these like different components to like of engaging Chinese audiences on like Douyin and on this social media to start for your own companies and to start your own like social media presence in China? Well, like Joey had mentioned, there's like the way to be able to create your own account and to kind of establish yourself that way, which does require the process of like getting a Chinese Apple account number. You also need to have a phone number, Chinese phone number, and then be able to work on the Chinese surfaces as well in Chinese. And so for me, I started my platforms while I was studying abroad over in China a few years ago. But then the other way, as Joey had also talked about, was going through a KOL and inviting them to help promote you to their loyal followers, and then also analyzing which kind of KOL that you're going for. So if you're a travel industry, you would want to go for a travel KOL. If you're a food industry, you would want to go for a foodie KOL. So there's many different kind of niches like we just talked about. So this is what makes the KOLs so special, because they're already a part of the game, right? A key aspect of a KOL is that they've established themselves and constantly work to keep up with the content. So they consistently engage with followers, which is a very big part. It's not just you create the social media and then you send it out. Like there's that engagement, and that's really important. And especially when you have like videos with like 6 million views, it takes a lot of time to like every single individual comment and to comment back and to like interact with them. So that does take a lot of time, but it's like very rewarding, and it also really personalizes the KOL's relationship with their followers, thus that loyalty to the KOL and their opinion and their experience and what they share, which is definitely what you're looking for. Other traits of like KOLs are being like unique, entertaining. Many are singers, many are dancers. You have those who are voice actors that are becoming very popular recently. You have those who can speak dialects or speak multiple dialects. So there's many different variations of KOL as well. So me, myself, I'm more of a like comedy, music, dance, and then dialect and food and then travel. So there's many different things. And then you also have those who are specific to cosmetics. You have those who are specific to fashion. There's many different kinds of KOLs that you can work with, but there's an aspect of like they're just being captivating, right? And really just captivating their audience and just really just bringing them in. So what's interesting though about that is that even though you could have like a very interesting KOL, there's that creativity, and they're like, rather than having the same kind of content like continuously, they creatively are constantly pumping out like content that's interesting. And because as I said before, Chinese have like a more shorter attention span, like considering like everything's on like social media now, and it's so easy to just quickly like swipe through everything. So if they're not engaged or not interested, they'll swipe away within that 0.2 seconds. So in order to catch them, the advertising as well has to be very creatively integrated into the video, which comes to our point, integrated advertising. So for example, we can take a look at my Chinese New Year video collaboration with Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center. So be sure to keep an eye out for the application of editing techniques I mentioned before. So we'll go ahead and check that out. You can see all the different kind of activities that they have. My inability to make dumplings well. Love for chocolate. And then there's special chocolate that they have there. You can see the very famous like Tom and Jerry. And there are different items with that. You can also see the text with the different like details as well. And then we've come to food. It looks so good. Ooh, and then the famous Hong Bao or the red pockets. Love those. So like we had said previously, constant like attention, right? Like there's just that interaction, and there's just so much going on at the same time. You can't help but watch it a few more times, maybe 5 more times or so, to just be able to kind of take in everything that's just happened in it. So through this collaboration, like I was given a list of their New Year's details, and then I was able to come up with a creative, fun way to connect them, like adding interesting music, sound effects, zoom ins, tons of text, a lot of leg pops. And even with the quick cuts, the audience can clearly see the different stores, activities, and food specials while being entertained. It's a win-win. So there's many different ways to be able to like integrate the advertising so that it's not just the main premises of the video, but it's one of the multiple layers, but also has a very like straightforward like image, and very like helpful in the brand awareness, like for like your company when you're trying to integrate the Chinese audience. So without further ado, I believe that next we're going to be moving on to our Q&A sessions. But if you guys have any further questions for me and the media side of things, like feel free to email me or to message me on Instagram as well, which is more like accessible like here, like on Island. But thank you guys so much again for taking a special look behind the scenes of a Chinese KOL, where we covered the basics, we talked about my background, the examples of Douyin videos, and then also what Chinese viewers find interesting. And so thank you again so much, and I hope that this information will be helpful in your journey into the Chinese market and welcome you to the exciting world of Chinese social media. Yay! Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And well, I have to say that we do have in China a number of individuals who are well known across the country. You know, I think many of you can guess who they are. Firstly is of course, you know, it's it's olden times. It's you know, Dr. Song Yisian, and then probably you may or may not know that another most known individual, Sarah, you know, who is the next most well-known individual who is associated with Hawaii? And our audiences can also make a guess. I should say probably Robert Kiyosaki. I know that, many Hawaiians, I don't know why they do not mention this individual, but he is very well known. And of course, then you probably come across Barack Obama. And probably, who knows, the next one will be Sarah Ying. If we work, if we are bent on that direction.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Yeah, that's what I want to say, because unlike in the olden days, you spend years to make one known to people, and in today's society, probably you are just known to millions of people in just 1 week or 2 weeks. And actually, we have a short video who is actually a trainer of English to be KOL teachers, English teachers. I have told some of the Hawaii schools that they should, start to look at, long distance education, teaching English, because there are a number of language schools in Hawaii. And if they see this video, who train these obscure English teachers to be, the very well-known teachers in China. And we are coming to the Q&A session, and I'm informed that actually Joey is trying to catch a flight, so he is unable to be together with us for the question and answer session. But anyways, you can leave your questions there, and we will try to he can answer your questions himself. You can get his contact information, or you can leave the questions to us. We will pass over to him later. But anyways, I want to, on behalf of DBAT Beijing.
Hey, Gordon, I'm back, actually.
Oh, really? Okay, good. All right. Without much, talking by myself, let's go into the Q&A session. I don't see anyone, but anyways, now you can raise your hand, and then Tim will let you in, and you can ask our, they are both native speakers, and you can ask your questions.
Yep, there's one person raised the hand, Carol. I am letting her to speak. Hello, Carol, are you here? Hello, Carol, are you here? Okay, no, she's not here.
All right. Anyone more? Because we are coming very close to the new year, and our meeting is getting longer and longer. And if you don't have any questions, I'm not sure whether you want. I want to just share with you one thing. I think the social media is really not only a new thing; it's also very cost-effective and a powerful marketing tool. I just share with you one screenshot, and this before we prepare for this session, a few months ago, we DBAT Beijing office wants to understand how the social media platforms work, and we opened one. Our office actually opened one Douyin account. The name of the account is something like "Fall in Love with Hawaii," and then Flora, in my office, she made a short video, and this video, and this is a totally new account. And we got very few in Chinese standard is we got 5,300 views, and we got something like 150 likes. But this is just want to show you that we start from scratch, and we get thousands of views in just a couple of days, and from where from non-existent Douyin account. And if you work with one KOL, well, like Ying or other Sarah or other, I'm sure that you can get very good exposure to Chinese audience. Sarah herself is you can all see that she's young and energetic, but remember that the audience probably Joey has the data, over 80–90% of the audience, target audience who spend are young people. And you have to speak the young people's language. Of course, there are mature, older KOLs, and we can also show you some of them. But anyways, this is one example. And if you would like, then we can show you a video from this KOL teacher trainer who made thousands of people well-known who teach English, Chinese, foreigners, Americans, Europeans, Filipinos who teach. China is a big language market. And we have, if you have time, we have 1 or 2, 3 minutes. Tim, you want to play the video?
Yeah, let me share the video.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex. I'm the founder and CEO of 101 Study. It's my great honor to introduce our company to all of you guys. 101 Study is an educational MCN. We help teachers to get fans on Douyin and Kuaishou. Douyin and Kuaishou are the biggest short video platforms in China, which are really popular among all the people. They have 700 million daily active users, which means 700 million Chinese people are watching short videos on these two platforms. So we think it's a huge market. We help teachers to get fans on these two platforms, and we make them become internet celebrity teachers. We don't hire teachers. All the teachers are co-founders. We help them to become famous, and then we share the income after that. So this is a whole new business model in China. In the summer of 2018, one night, I was having dinner with my friend. Suddenly he said, "Hey Alex, why don't you use Douyin?" I said, "No, I don't use it." He said, "You have to use it. It's the most popular app among all the young people. A lot of people are watching videos on it. And I saw some English teachers there. You should go there and teach English and get some more fans." I said, "Okay, I'll try it." After that dinner, I downloaded a Douyin. I swiped, and swiped. Suddenly, I saw an English teacher. Her name is Emily. At that time, Emily only got 100,000 followers, and now she has over 6 million followers, and she can make several millions RMB a year. Douyin changed her life for the better. So short video platforms are great opportunities for all the teachers in China. They can get fans, they can become internet celebrities, they can make their lives so much better. After a few weeks, I found our first foreign teacher on Douyin. I saw a very handsome dude. He was trying so hard to teach English, but seldom people give him likes. So I asked my assistant to send him a message and invite him to come to my office. His name is Ergouzi. Ergouzi is a really funny Chinese nickname. It's just like donkey in English, something like that. The first time I met him, I told him, "Hey Darby, I'm going to get you 1 million followers. Darby is from Canada, and he said, okay, let's try it. But I can tell from his facial expression, he didn't believe it. And then he left. The next time he came to my office, I made the first video for him. It got 300,000 likes. And the third time he came to my office, I made the second video for him, and that video got over 1 million likes. After that, he sent me a message on WeChat and said, Alex, oh my God, you're amazing, you're my boss. He bought my story. Now, Darby is the most popular foreign teachers in China right now. He got over 7 million followers on Douyin and Kuaishou. He even got invited on CCTV, which is the biggest TV channel in China. He used to become a normal foreign teacher in an offline school, but now he's an internet celebrity teacher in China. In the spring of 2019, some of the teachers started to do the live broadcasting on Douyin, and they sell courses by live broadcasting to their fans. I still remember the first day I came to Beijing. I wrote a slogan for 101 Study, 让普通家庭的孩子接受更好的教育. In English, it means better education and not only for the rich families. But now in China, all the online education companies are too expensive. Students have to pay over 10,000 RMB a year. It's too expensive. Not all the family can afford it. In my opinion, online education means better teachers, means better content, but lower price. It's not right now. All the bigger companies, they spend most of the money on marketing. You wouldn't believe that. They spent 5 billion RMB on marketing during the summer vacation in 2020. 101 Study will try our best to find more and more excellent teachers. We'll help them to become internet celebrity teachers. We'll help them to become China famous teachers. And we'll try our best to lower the price of online education. And I do believe we can make it. Thank you very much.
Let me see. My mic is on. Yeah, my mic. Oh, well, and this is just I want to show you no matter what kind of product and what kind of services you have, and it's worth to give it a try to do the marketing inexpensively. And I saw there are 2 questions which are unanswered in the Q&A box, which was answered by Joey already. And what kind of first question is what kind of budget would you need to start? And the second one is, do you offer consulting services, things like that? And audiences who would like to see the answers, please check out in the Q&A box. And I want to mention, for example, I want to ask our audience, how do you think how many people in China they learn and play ukulele? And you can enter your say 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, and you can enter just 1, 2, 3, 4. And just to think of I want to see how you perceive the size of the market, and probably you can the best known another best well known not best known individual is I only remember his name is Jake. He's has a long name. He's a well-known ukulele player, and he even teaches the governor and a lot of celebrities. Many Chinese know him. And if we invite him to be KOL for Chinese audience, and you make a hit, I believe. And well, I don't see whether they are get estimates, but anyways, I just tell you that 10 million people are in China playing ukulele. And what do you think? Do you think it's a huge market? You know, also for your information, China is the world's largest ukulele manufacturer. And there are, well, several ukulele manufacturers who also produce the well-known brands for Hawaii. And they, every day, they ship ukulele by, you know, by containers. And if they stop shipping out these finished ukuleles for 1 week, the whole town of the manufacturer's place is occupied by the ukulele containers. Well, I just want to show I get excited. I don't know whether our audience get excited, but anyways, if you have questions, you can still ask. If you don't have, you can raise your hand. If you don't have, we just close it earlier today, and everybody get prepared for the new year. Okay, Dallas Stewart said, great, who would I contact to get the conversation started? If you mean you want to talk to Joey or to anybody particular, or of course you can write your intention, your request to either Timothy, or Timothy said that he's going to answer this question, and you can either contact Timothy of DBAC, or you can contact us. You can get our contact information from Timothy too. Alrighty, let's call it a day, and I want to thank our speakers, Joey, and for postponing his travel to the airport, and also thank Sarah for her time and energy spent on this. And to our audience, please remember to register for our next webinar, which is on January the 14th. Another Thursday, which will cover, we will try to, from insider and outsider's perspective, we'll try to find, what products already in China and what have a greater prospects for promoting in China. Thank you. Wishing you a very happy and prosperous new year, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.